Good evening, it's Cllr Mandy Clare here, fresh from dealing with an absolute shed load of trolls, trans rights activist trolls, probably trolls related to Chester Pride, maybe also Chester Story House, in and around the Chester and Cheshire area, but the trolling has come from actually a lot further afield as well, which is what tends to happen when you get these coordinated attacks. And I think when that happens, as unpleasant as it is a sign that maybe you're doing something right and you're considered to be a little bit of a threat of exposing some things that are happening that shouldn't be happening. So that's how I'm reading that, that's how I'm taking that. And what's different this time, the last time that I had major trolling incidents was, I think, probably about 3 years ago when I first, or over 3 years ago when I had a go about Drag Queen Story Hour being included as part of a family day at Chester Pride. And that's kind of where this all started for me. I think that was probably the most significant thing that I did when I came out as a TERF counsellor. And so it's been a while. I've had the odd little troll pile on since then, but I did a lot of blocking at the beginning, and I'm having to do an awful lot of blocking right at the minute. But I don't mind, because I feel as if, as I said, it means that I'm making serious headway with some of the awkward questions that I've been asking, including recently FOIs, Freedom of Information requests, about the council's involvement with Pride and our procedures, whether we've got the right procedures in place. I don't think we have. And similarly with the police, what their procedures are, because I think that they've failed in a number of significant ways to make sure that Pride events locally over consecutive years have been safe for children and appropriate. And what else can I say? The Chester Story House issue, I can deal with that separately. But in terms of the emails that I've sent this week, I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of where I'm at with that as a counsellor. And the reason for that is, one thing I wanted to update people, because not everybody wants to read through or troll through Freedom of Information requests and read all of the boring stuff that's been submitted. Some people really love that, but I appreciate that for others it's easier to hear it read out. And then obviously the emails that I've sent, they're not out in the public domain, but there's no reason why they shouldn't be. So I'm going to read those out so that people know what I'm doing. And I want to thank all of the amazing women and men who have come onto my counsellor page, who've come onto my Twitter account, my X account, and defended me and argued the case in support of child safeguarding, proper child safeguarding, like old school, when children mattered. And obviously women's safety. And it's tedious because these trolls come in with, as we all know, they come in with, what about this? And then you answer that question and they're proven wrong and they say, yeah, but what about this? And so they're constantly shifting the goalposts. And the point of that is that it's never a good faith discussion. The only reason that they're doing it is to try and intimidate you into silence. They think they can catch you out. Sometimes they'll do what they think is a really clever gotcha, not realising it's something that all of us TERFs have heard like 1,000 times before. We can deal with it in seconds, but it's tedious. We have to do it over and over again. And there is an argument for blocking trolls and not interacting with them at all, and I get that, and that's what I mainly do. But every now and again I let one of them hang around and make a complete arse out of themselves. And I want to thank everybody who's helped me to do that, because other people are watching, and over the course of the last 3+ years I have gone from it being a tumbleweed on my counsellor Facebook account where women were terrified and wouldn't speak up, no men, everybody, nobody would support, and now there's like a really great army of people that will go, hang on a minute, you're wrong about that, or here's this evidence that you've not taken into account. And it's nice because then other people get to watch it and they get to feel a little bit braver about saying, yeah, I've had concerns about that as well. So that's what we're doing, and we all know that that's why we do what we do. Tedious as it is, despite the fact that we shouldn't have to be doing it. So the other thing is that I want other counsellors to know that nothing terrible happens if you speak out and you just tell the truth. We do, by the skin of our teeth, still have free speech within this country. And even if the police were to overstep and try to make an example out of someone, it would backfire in all likelihood. and end up reflecting worse on them, as has happened with the Lindsay Smith case, which I was just delighted to see Harry Miller and Lindsay Smith there outside the police station there, challenging that chief constable to come out and hold up the sign to show that he is upholding the law and that he is not biased, and that he's willing to allow people their freedom of speech rights that have already been won through the courts, and that they're not culturally captured, because the police, as we know, shouldn't be. So here's some of the emails that I've sent this week. Excuse the glare on my glasses. So I emailed Del Curtis, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Cheshire West and Chester Council, where I'm a councillor, and also Vanessa Whiting, who is the Monitoring Officer and has oversight for governance as well. A little bit of a clash, conflict of interest there, I think, with one person holding those two roles, but the council doesn't agree with me. So, but I've involved her because these are legal issues. You know, it's child safeguarding, so these are legal issues and legally required procedures that we're supposed to have in place, which I don't think that we do. So I said, please watch this video link, and that is referring to the video link which has the CEO of Chrysalis at Chester Pride, Steph Holmes, and in a recorded conversation with myself when I went along to Chester Pride to see what was going on last summer. So Chester Pride 2024. Bearing in mind, Chester Pride is actually a registered charity, and they've been forewarned plenty of times about stuff that goes wrong at their event. So it says, Dear Delith and Vanessa,